you're watching a movie and they kind of show one part before they actually start telling the beginning of the story. So that's what it kind of
flashback.
Yeah, that's what it kind of looks like to me. Like you give that first part, you know, but then
you go back and tell
you go
the story
back
how it started.
and you tell how it started in detail. You know what I'm saying? It's like, let me bring you this far. Okay, now let me bring you up to date on the backdrop.
Very good.
So
Absolutely.
That's what it. Okay.
So that's exactly what happened. In the first chapter, we're learning the story of creation.
Right. Okay. So that's the.
He took us from, in the beginning, God created the heaven and earth,
Right.
to, and on the seventh day he rested.
Right.
And looked back and said everything he made was good.
Right.
That was creation, first chapter. Then second chapter, we start to talk about the Adam family.
Right. Because otherwise we wouldn't get it.
No pun intended. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yes.
That's good. That's very good. That's because, see, that's important because that's foundational upon everything else we're going to build on top of that.
Right.
Okay, so now what we want to talk about now is Adam was brought from earth. I ain't going to even go to that other part because that'll help us to chew another few minutes off of that. But Adam was brought from earth, right? Okay, what happens in the story is that God curses Adam.
Right.
Yeah.
And the earth. I was going to say that in just a minute, but you did a good job. God curses Adam and the earth. See, when I said the first time, it was supposed to echo. God curses Adam, and the earth. That's important. That's very important. What happened? God cursed Adam and the earth.
Why the earth?
That's what I want you to know. So now Adam, remember, Adam came out of
Dirt. Oh.
and we're going to call the dirt earth.
Okay.
In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And he took from the earth and formed
Man.
in his image.
Yes.
And then he said that just like you came from the earth, you're going to go back to earth, ashes to ashes. Y'all getting this now? It's significant that he comes from the earth. In one of the languages that Pastor Talton will teach all about later, the Adam, I think, is a derivation of the word Adama, is that right? Which means earth. Nope, just chew on it. It's going to be your turn later. So when God curses the earth and that, now Adam is suffering. He's got to work for his food, right? He got to die and return to the earth. His woman going through all kinds of things like that. All of these earthly aspects of his identity. And the curse is saying that him and God are no longer tight. The curse is that him, in the text it says an estrangement, but it means that him and God's relationship is literally broken. It's the breaking of their relationship. As Patrick said a little while ago, at first him and God, they was walking together, they were talking together. It was the time for God to visit. And when God came to visit, because that's what they did together in the Garden of Eden, which was this sanctified place for them to visit. And when God came to visit, they were hiding.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Because their relationship was broken.
Yeah. Right.
That was the breakdown in their relationship. And so it was a separation that took place between God and man. A separation between God and man and earth.
Yes.
Y'all get that?
Yeah.
So in chapter 2, God made man, put him in the earth, put him in a special place so he can have a relationship with him. In chapter 3 of Genesis, Adam starts talking about, not Adam, but God starts talking about the fall of man. The fall of man. What happened in chapter 3? What happened a little bit?
God cursed Adam.
What happened first?
Oh,
You ate the fruit, right?
Right.
You ate the fruit.
Right.
A serpent. A serpent. Pastor Cannon, how does snake talk? Don't worry about that. Pastor Cannon, how does snake walk? Don't worry about that. It doesn't matter how it walked and how it talked. The point of the matter is a serpent talked to Eve, talked Eve into eating the fruit. Right? From the tree that God said don't eat.
right.
When she ate the fruit, what's it called? Thank you. When she ate the fruit, then she got the fruit and took the fruit to her husband. Then the husband ate. When the husband ate, then they started getting wisdom. God said, don't eat this fruit, because this is the tree of what? Knowledge. Very good. Gold star for the lady right here. This is the tree of knowledge. Don't eat this fruit, because if you eat this fruit, then you're going to have knowledge, and you shall surely die. What is the gift of the Spirit?
Life.
No, not asking about that. When we just said, but the Holy Spirit gave us gifts in Isaiah. One of them was knowledge, wasn't it? One of them was wisdom, wasn't it? So this was something I was supposed to have from God.
Right.
But God said, don't eat the fruit because you're going to catch it.
Right.
Don't eat the fruit because this ain't the way you're supposed to get it. So God had a plan for you to have it, but not from the fruit of the tree, but from the fruit of the Spirit. Ah, you all are so smart. You all are so smart. And so he said, as long as you have me, you have knowledge.
Right.
As long as you have me, you have wisdom.
I know. That's why I was trying to.
As long as you have me, you have everything that you need. But when you eat the fruit of the tree, you forsake me.
Right.
Wow.
Me, act like you don't need me.
You start to lean to your own
Self.
understanding.
My goodness.
He said, if you just stick with me, I'm coming to the garden, we're going to sit down together. What is that? That's a chicken, and it is good. You know, that's what we are. That's a deer, and it is good. That's an eagle, and it is good. We ain't got no problem. You don't have to figure it out. You don't need knowledge. But the seduction of the serpent was to get you caught up on something that God never intended for you to have.
Right.
Can I go a little bit deeper, just a half a step? That is called the carnal mind.
You're saying that Isaiah 11 is called the carnal.
No, I'm talking about Genesis 3.
Oh.
When I got that knowledge, that's when I got my 5 senses that y'all tell me about.
Right.
I got my 5 senses from the tree.
So before that, we didn't have.
I didn't need that.
Wow.
I had God.
That's why I didn't know he was
Right.
naked.
I didn't need that. I didn't know I was naked because I had God. I didn't know. I didn't need all that stuff. All I got is ask God. What is, we together. But I was seeking a knowledge outside of God, and therefore I got carnal knowledge.
Wow.
The carnality is what I know through my own senses. So now you know how bad you've been messing your people up when you tell them God gave you 5 senses.
Amen.
Because God didn't give you 5 senses. God gave you 1 spirit.
Right.
Jesus, my goodness.
The serpent gave you 5 senses, and you've been messed up ever since.
Amen.
Yes, ma'am. You just did.
Was the serpent really a snake?
Yes.
I hear you, but I still don't understand how you talk.
Me either. But it was I wasn't there.
Well, the donkey talked too in the Bible.
Not the chicken. God make folk talk. The chicken talk, everything.
Make a
talk.
rock talk.
But it look like that at that time?
I don't know.
No, because it said after the snake did that it made it curse him by making him slither on his stomach for the rest of his life.
In the text, as you read the text tonight, because I know you're going to be so enticed, in the text, it says that the serpent was walking.
Yeah.
In a moment, because y'all are so smart, y'all ahead of my notes, but in a moment, the serpent is going to get cursed. And part of the curse is that he have to move about on his belly.
Right.
So the serpent moving like we see the serpent
Now.
is after the curse.
Right. So
Just like man moving the way we see man moving is after the curse.
Wow.
Right, the serpent, not the man. So we identify with man. Watch this. This is why we call ourselves only human. Because we are a form or a hue of man. Not man as God created us.
Wow.
We're not in the image of God, we're in the image of man.
Of man. My goodness.
Operating in our own carnal thinking and understanding. Not with the wisdom of God. Remember, I went through all of them. Yes, ma'am.
Is that because man was first?
Man, I'm into mankind, male and female.
Right.
So
Not just men, but mankind
he took something from the man.
to make a woman. But that was just the construction part. But he made man in his image, male and female.
So in other words, we go from man.
You trying to give us some credit that we ain't taking today. All right. When he made mankind in the first chapter, he made male and female at the same time. That's different than Eve. Eve is a different story.
I'm really confused.
Well, welcome. That's why we came here, because we can get this ironed out. Man, let's start back over. In the first chapter, he made mankind in his image. Let's assume that me and Danielle and Patrick and Renita, we are the people on earth. We are all the people on earth. Male and female created he them.
Right.
At the same time. Around the earth. In North America, in Asia, in Africa, Australia, man is on the earth. Have you ever ordered a pizza online? And you know how you select the stuff and then the stuff just come down on the picture? That's just me. Okay, but it shows the picture of it. Like you say, I want sausages, like sausage rains down on your picture, and then it shows that on there.
Right.
So when he said, I made man, he made mankind on earth totally at the same time.
Right.
That's the first chapter. He's talking about the creation of man. In the second chapter, he's talking about the Boone family. Specifically.
Right.
And the leader of the Boone family is Luke Boone. Okay? And God created Luke. And then he put Luke to sleep, and he reached in and grabbed Luke's rib and took it out and fashioned Ethel. You see what I'm saying? That's the story of the second chapter. That's different than the story of the first chapter.
That explains why they always say it's two beginnings or two something. They always say chapter 1 and chapter 2 says the same thing.
Same
So
thing.
that explains.
On a timeline, it's happening at the same time. Yes, absolutely. Does that make sense now? All right. So specifically, hold on. So specifically, when he starts talking about Adam and Eve, now Katie, Eve was taken from the rib of Adam and formed. That's specifically that story, not necessarily the story of all women in the earth. You see what I'm saying? Y'all follow me? So that specific story is what we're talking about there. Did he do that with all women in the earth? Don't know. Doesn't matter. I wasn't there. But what we know was he made male and female at the same time mankind, and he called them Adam in the first chapter. In the second chapter, he went on to tell us the story of the Boone family. You got me? Kind of making sense?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's why we're here. And so the serpent came to pull them into carnality. All right? So now when the serpent came, God was there, manifested personally in the earth with them. They walked and talked with God. We can't because of sin.
Right.
Before that, God said, don't eat the fruit of the tree, because if you eat this, you're going to get knowledge and die. Knowledge, carnal knowledge, is enmity against God. It messes you up because it causes you to trust your own understanding and not Him. If all you know is what He tells you, you'll never do anything wrong.
Right.
Amen.
Now, if you just wake up every day and don't do nothing except for what God tells you throughout the day, you'll never do anything wrong. The problem is you start to do what you want. And so what the serpent brought to the party was temptation.
Right.
Yeah.
He brought temptation and exposed what was in Eve that Eve was not even aware of.
Right. That's real good.
When temptation comes, every man is drawn away by his own lust and enticed. So that's how I got tempted, is that I had a desire for something that I didn't even know I had. What was her desire? To know as much as God.
Wow.
She wanted to know everything. It wasn't about the fruit, because it was fruit on all the trees.
Right.
But I want to know this. And he told me I can't have it, so I want to do what he told me I can't do. See the lust in us?
Wow.
Have anybody see themselves in the Bible yet? I have a desire to do what he said I don't do. So the very thing, that temptation at its root is just a desire to do something that God told me don't do. So he said don't eat the fruit. And I said, well, it looks good. I don't see any reason why I can't eat it. And I tasted it, and it tasted good. So now I've given to the temptation. I've eaten the fruit. I've sinned and disobeyed God. And then what did she do next? She took the fruit to her husband.
Right.
Anybody see yourself in the Bible yet? So you the same thing that you're doing, you bringing it to your household. So now, if it got you caught up, you're going to spread it.
Right.
So she brought it to her husband. And her husband looked at it and said it looked good to him too. So then he ate it. Then God dealt with him. Now you got to look at how God deals with them. They ate the fruit. They both got knowledge. Then the scripture before that says, when they looked at each other, they were naked and not ashamed. Then they ate the fruit. And then they saw that they were naked.
And they were ashamed.
And they were ashamed. And they hid themselves in the bushes. Can I go further? So now here comes God to have the relationship that we always had. And when he shows up to talk with you and hang out with you and spend time with you, he's ready to have relationship with you. You're hiding from him because of sin.
Wow, that is good.
So God comes and says, Adam, not Adam and Eve,
Right.
but he says, Adam, where art thou? Well, see, what had happened. Then what happened? They start blaming. What happened? It was this woman you gave me. If it was a different class, I'd tell y'all God didn't tell him that was his wife. But that's a different class.
Wow.
And then the woman said, I know I'm preaching good, ain't I?
Yeah.
And then the woman said, it was the serpent that tripped me up. And so when they got through telling all of that, then God cursed everybody.
Mm-hmm.
He cursed the man, he cursed the woman, and he cursed the serpent.
And here.
And he cursed the earth.
Yeah, everything.
Everything was cursed because of Adam. Guess what? Now I'm going to really mess up our religion, Sister Boone. That was his ministry.
Adams. To mess up.
For us to be, you know.
You talking about to have dominion and like be the CEO of everything or whatever.
His ministry was to start. for us
To be the father of sin.
But to keep everything in order.
That wasn't what I said.
I'm asking.
The fall.
The fall.
The Father was his ministry. That was his
Sure.
so that we could be saved.
I'm so glad you asked me.
Yeah.
Here, so let's go a little further. And so after he cursed, here's the curses. First was on the serpent to go about his belly. The woman was condemned to have pain in childbirth and to be submissive to her husband.
Right.
Until then, she was equal with her husband.
Yeah.
She was equal.
Male and female created he them.
Yeah.
The curse
Puts the man
was submission,
Yeah.
Oh, Christ.
For the woman.
which is why it doesn't give you an option. Yes.
Like, it was just, another part of it was just hitting me like, up until then, like, it was like, as soon as they took part in the fruit, everything that was opposite of the fruit of the spirit from God entered in. Fear entered in.
All of that.
All of that entered in. Because
The works of
before
the
that,
flesh.
like you said, there was no need. God didn't actually give her to him. He never said that this was your wife. He just said
He
that-
said it.
Right.
He said it.
Right. He just, I mean.
This calls a man ought to leave his mama.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
It just, there was no need for any of that because
Right.
there was no knowledge
They
of
had God.
feelings, of senses, of any of that.
All we know is God.
Right.
The only knowledge that we had was God.
Right.
And that was enough.
Right.
But he said, don't eat this tree of knowledge. And the temptation was, you're going to know as much as God.
So that's the other thing.
And you'll be just like
Temptation.
God. So that was the lust.
Right.
I want to be just like God. Dummy, you are.
I was just going to say, you in spirit.
Right. Right. So you see how he got us tangled up?
Right.
And so now the curse that the woman got, the curse made her subject. Notice how God does curses.
Yeah.
He doesn't curse me and say, Damon, I will force you to eat chicken all week.
Right.
That's not a curse. The curse would be, Damon, I will force you to live by nuts alone.
Right.
Because I don't want the nuts.
Right.
Neither did the woman want to be submissive to her husband.
True.
So a lot of times you see, even in 2017, women that don't want to be submissive to a husband, but that's the results of the curse. That's not the result of society, that's the result of the curse. I know somebody gonna argue that with me another time because it ain't gonna be tonight. But that's the result of the curse. You see what I'm saying? Then finally Adam was condemned to work.
Right.
That's the result of the curse.
Right.
He was supposed to rule.
Right. Then he was sweet.
He was supposed to reign. Sit back and call stuff. Now he got to work.
Right.
See, that's what I thought was the beginning. That's what I was.
No, but that was the curse. Work was the curse.
No, the rule. I thought his ministry was.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Yeah. But the curse was the working. Does that make sense?
Right.
All right. And then they got kicked out the garden.
Right.
So the garden was, I'm using words. The garden was something like heaven.
Right.
I'm gonna say, because I know Abraham was going
It was something like heaven. All right. Now the curse comes So now that you're cursed, you got to get out of heaven.
Can't happen.
So we kick you out of the garden and put an angel at the gate and say you can't get back in the garden. The garden was on earth.
Wow.
So,
That means that heaven.
Was on earth.
So he was kicked out of this place and refused to be able to get back into the place because of sin. Exactly. Because of sin. That was the curse. So now you out and you got to go work and you got to go do all of that stuff. Right? And he took away the tree of life, which was in the Garden of Eden, which is in heaven.
Wow.
okay.
Because if they ate from the tree of life, they would live forever. I'm going to get to your question in just 1 second. If they lived forever and had sin, are y'all still with me?
Yeah.
If they live forever and have sin, that would mean they would be eternally separated from God.
My goodness.
Say it.
If they live forever and they have sin, that would mean they would be eternally separated from God. Because the only way you can overcome the sin is through death. And if they eat of the tree of life, they would live forever in a sin condition. And you would live forever in a sin condition. Does that make sense? Yes.
Is that why Jesus told us to pray, your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven? Because now we have to declare it and pray it, and
That's a little bit deeper, but
I'm
it's something close to that.
it just happens.
That's good. That's good. This is good. I hope it's stirring stuff. But y'all with me? I'm talking fast, but I'm walking slow. Okay? So the heaven experience of Eden was our destined place that was forsaken because of sin. And because of that, they were cast out of Eden into the earth with whatever was going on with everybody else. And then they started being fruitful and multiplying.